Okay, peace, y'all. You already know who it is. Let me get my throat together. I'm on Astrology. We back here once again for a live stream. We'll do a quick Q&A for those who may have any questions. And I made sure to put the mic on so the quality should be a little bit better as well. So whatever is on your mind, go ahead and let me know. While people come in, let me just speak my mind. Give people a couple minutes to come in the meantime. So, what's been going on over here from my end? As you know, we always working with the spirit. We always figuring stuff out. We always decoding the mysteries. So I just want to let everybody know I will be putting out content on a daily basis. So whether it's on the website, whether it's public on YouTube or the membership side of YouTube, I will be putting up daily content. Just because I found my rhythm, I would say. I've worked with enough spirits, work with enough deities. Then, of course, everybody always has questions. So, I want to give everybody an opportunity to let it be known what may be on their mind, so on and so forth. Thoughts on embodiment of what kind? Let me know exactly what you're speaking about so I can give you the most accurate answer possible. So I'm definitely at a point where I feel I can put out daily content. I don't think I've ever put out daily content because I always like to give myself a little time to focus and to back up all the information with the data and the facts and the experiences, so on and so forth. I didn't want to just get too pressed on the book knowledge because it's been a lot of evolution in terms of, I used to come on and just speak my mind or speak directly from the heart without going back and verifying the information. Then I started to verify the information so it would be more factual and based upon truth. Now I'm at a point where it's all synchronizing together. So at the point of me getting the information or getting the knowledge, whatever you want to call it, it's already in tune. So let me answer this question. Embodying the type of person you want to be to affect the change in your life. Well, you have to decide who you want to be first and foremost, because each of the paths have a different way of activating itself. So for example, let me just be more specific, right? We already understand we have the 22 archetypes, right? Or as we call the major arcana in any tarot deck, right? We all will find ourselves somewhere within those 22 archetypes. Some people may resonate with the magician. Other people may resonate with the high priestess. Other people may resonate with the devil. Other people may resonate with the hanged man, so on and so forth. So once you have identified which of the 22 archetypes that you embody already, because we have came into this world embodying one of the 22 archetypes anyway. So once you come to an understanding of which archetype you already are, what you're trying to do is essentially establish yourself deeper into what you already are instead of changing what you are. Now, is it possible to change who you are? Absolutely, because we are all of the 22 archetypes. But we must first identify who we are, because that becomes our foundation. That becomes our tree of life. And once we identify who we are within the tree of life, we already know we have the 22 paths. When we look at the Kabbalah, we have the 22 paths, and those 22 paths are connected to 2 other planets. So this gives you a 3-dimensional view of whatever archetype you may be. So for example, let me just give a quick example because that, just in case that went over anyone's head. So let's just say you resonate with the archetype of the devil. Well, the devil sits between Teberif and Hud on the tree of life, or the Kabbalah, right? So Teberif resonates with the sun and Hud resonates with Mercury. So although you are embodying the energy of the devil, which also correlates to the energy of Capricorn, so you have 3 dimensions. You have Capricorn as the path. You have the sun on one side of it. On the other side, you have Mercury. So you have a fusion of the sun and Mercury. Then you have the energy of Capricorn fusing all of this together. And this is why this is called alchemy. So essentially what you will be doing is discovering why does Capricorn sit between the Sun and Mercury? So once you identify why that particular path sits between the Sun and Mercury, then you will get a deeper understanding as to why you resonate with that path in the first place. Then, of course, you have many dimensions of the tree. Of course, we have the four worlds of the tree. We have the three pillars of the tree. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. This is why the Kabbalah is a map of the universe, because it has every potentiality that you can possibly embody. So you must understand the potentialities, so that you know what you must do to embody it, because the code or the sequence is already revealed to you once you have discovered the potentiality, right? So hopefully that wasn't too complex. Let me actually lighten that up a little bit, okay? I don't know who you're speaking about here. Volk, Israel, uh, Regardi. I have no idea who that is. Recommended every occultist take up Winhelm. What is this? Rehesh. Again, I may be saying this all wrong. Physical psychotherapy to de-armor the body. Do you have any experience with this, and do you think it could be done through dance? Well, I can't really speak on it because I have no idea what he's talking about. So I have no idea what someone else is talking about, because everyone has their own path. So I'm not even going to speak about something that someone else said, because they may be coming from a completely different angle. You know what I mean? They may not study the Kabbalah, or they may study the Kabbalah. So, because occultist can mean something different to everybody. Like occultist, just like spirituality, like anybody is just doing anything now. You know what I mean? Like, honestly. Like, if you ask 10 different people what's the definition of an occultist, you're going to get 10 different answers, right? Because people are not meeting nowhere in the middle, right? People are just doing whatever. He was Crowley's secretary and student. He has remarkable texts on the Kabbalah. Well, once again, there's really, I would say, if anything, to study Crowley's works. And the reason I say that is because Crowley was a prolific writer in and of himself, right? So there's really no need to study the student's work before you master the master's work. So that's my perspective. Before you study the students of Crowley, you must master his works. So until you have already read the Book of Thoth, because Crowley wrote the Book of Thoth, Crowley also created the Thoth Tarot, right? Until you master these things, there's no point of even studying the student's works, because I'm sure the student, if he was a direct student of Crowley, he had mastered all these things already. So there's no need to go to the student before you master the master's work. And his works is, you know, there's hundreds, probably thousands of works by Crowley in terms of his writings. You know, he has libers forever, right? But it all is coded, encrypted. So I know most people don't even understand what's being said because it's coded. It's not obvious. You're not going to read any of Crowley's work and know exactly what he's talking about if you're not studied up. So you have to already be studied up to even understand Crowley, which his students, I'm sure, if you were a direct student of his, you've already done the same thing. So in terms of the language of the students, I would say study Crowley first. Master his studies. Master his works. So read the Book of Thoth. Read the Cause of the Aethers. You know what I mean? There's many works. I believe there's The Voice. There's a book, like there's many works of Crowley. The Book of Lies. Like there's many works from Crowley that have yet to be decoded, because you have to be studied up to even understand what he's really talking about. Because Crowley was the master of the West. Helena Blavatsky was the master of the East. For those who even understand that. See, it's like we have to put it into a historical context to even put it in place. Most people don't even know the connection between Crowley and Blavatsky. What Blavatsky was teaching, what Crowley was teaching. They don't know the difference between Thelema and, I want to say it properly, Theosophy or Theosophy. I may be still saying it wrong, but there's a difference. Helena Blavatsky was master of the East because she set up shop in New York, and Crowley was a master of the West. That's why he has such a great influence on the Hollywood culture, right? So once we put all this into historical context, This makes it a lot easier to understand these things. The reason why it's just so coded and encrypted because most people don't know how to put it into historical context. That's why I do my best to put these things into historical context, so we're just not studying stuff and we don't even know where to put it. Once we know exactly where it fits into the grand scheme of things, it makes it a lot easier to decode the rest of the works, because we understand what it represented in history. We understand what Crowley represented in history, not just what people thought of him or his works. How did he influence others? What influence did he really have on on Western occultism? Most people have no idea how he actually affected the world, but they are familiar with what he did, right? Most people are familiar with his, the demonic acts and the craziness he went through and the drugs and so forth. Most people are familiar with what he did, but they don't put it into historical context. Like, they don't know the works of Kenneth Grant. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really know, like, because again, if you read any of these things, it's not going to make any sense to you if you don't have it in historical context. So the occult has always been evolving. This is where I'm getting at. The occult has constantly been evolving. So if you don't understand the evolution that the occult has taken by reading, the works of like Albert Pike, Eulyptus Levi, because Crowley said he was a incarnation of Eulyptus Levi. But how many people know what Eulyptus Levi brought to the occult table? See, all these things and all these masters, they have a position to play on the grand scheme or on the world stage, and we have to understand all of these masters read the masters before them. So Crowley was reading Albert Pike's works, Morals and Dogma. Most people have no idea what that's even about. Most people have no idea the secrets of Masonry, you know what I mean, or Freemasonry, whatever you want to call it. But if we put it in historical context, what were they studying? What were they reading? Because they made, no quarrels about who they studied before them or who influenced them. It's all in their works already. Okay, we read this. So once you know what they read, then you read their addition, because you can say the occult is a foundation that has already been laid down. So the foundation has already been laid down. So all we have is add-ons or plus lessons to the occult, to the foundation that has already been laid down. So once we understand the foundation that has already been laid down, we can put these things into context, because we can see what each person brought to the table and whether it's valid or invalid. So once we know exactly how this evolved, like, most people have no idea who 21st century occultists are. Like, people don't even know who is the main occultist in today's times, in 2020. Most people we don't know. So they may be familiar with the 19th century, Crowley, Blavatsky, Elijah Muhammad, so, Farad Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali. They're familiar with these people. But who is the 21st century version of this? Most people have no idea. So I just want to be sure to put this into historical context so that you know how the story flows. Because once you know how the story flows, then there is no mysteries, because everyone is working off of other people's works, and they are just adding on to the works that have already been laid down, right? Of course, you have people who still look at the Bible and other holy books as historical context. So that's one fault, that people are still utilizing books that are non-historical, that are strictly occultic, but they're looking at it as a historical event. So if you're one of the people who thinks that the world actually flooded, or you think that the Garden of Eden is an actual place, and Adam actually ate from the apple from Eve, if you think all these events actually happened, without studying the occultic nature of these events, because all of these events also have a psychological representation of them, so they're more psychological than logical or historical. But you see, the confusion is there for a reason. The confusion is there just to twist people's minds up, rather, so that they don't go back to the actual source. Because if I ask, well, what is the source of the occult? If the answer is the Bible or the Quran or any of these books, then we're missing the point, right? But again, we have to be studied to know these things, because it's going to lead you to book to book to book to book to book. Then you have to study different languages, because the occult was written in different languages, right? So you have occult works that were never translated into English. Majority of the greater works or the greatest works never made it to the English language. So let me put that in your head. So majority of the grand works never even made it to the English language. So they were either written in Latin, some was written in Russian, some was written in French, some is probably even written in Spanish. So this takes quite some time to really decode, because you basically have to study everything on the planet. When you are studying alchemy, you basically are studying everything on the planet, because you literally have to learn new languages. And that's why I speak about the Hebrew. That's why I use the Hebrew alphabet. Like you can't even stay in English if you really want to get the true secrets. So anybody studying the tree of life or the tree of death, eventually you're going to have to learn Hebrew to even know what the Hebrew alphabet even represents in correlation to the occult. You can't just stay in English and get the full perspective, because it was not revealed in English. It was translated into English. So we are just basing our whole reality off of translations, which every time you translate anything, you're going to lose things within the translation. So if you don't understand the things that were lost in translation, then it's going to be pretty hard to see, okay, well, what is really being said? Because I guarantee Crowley and those who we study were versed in multiple languages, because they had to be. It wasn't an option. You had to be versed if you want to know what the real secrets are. Because you can say, if everything was veiled on purpose, if these things were hidden, they're going to do more than just hide it in a book. They're going to hide it in a whole different language. It's going to be concealed in a whole different language. And there is a regular way to read these ancient languages, then there's an occultic way to read these ancient languages. So things like Sephra Yetzirah. It's a book called the Sephra Yetzirah. It's things like this, which is called the Book of Creation. So it has many different spells and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of Hebrew in there. There's a lot of the Hebrew alphabet. It decodes the Hebrew alphabet for you. But if you're not familiar with the Hebrew alphabet, or how to actually use it, or how to put it into the occult context, it's not going to really make much sense to you. But it has to be internalized. You have to internalize the tree before it illuminates itself. In other words, anybody can study the occult, anybody can study the tree of life, anybody can study anything dark, anybody can do it, anybody has access to it. But until it is internalized and you can illuminate it from within, that's when it starts to make sense to you. Why? Because the spirit begins to communicate with you, because you have gave it tools to communicate with you with. In other words, you may be having a dream and you see a certain Hebrew pattern with the Hebrew language. And if you know what that pattern is, you're like, okay, I see exactly what that is and what it means, because you have internalized it. Most of the spirits don't speak English. Why? Because they have been here for way before English was invented, right? So why would they speak English? So we're talking about the jinn. They probably speak Arabic, right? If we're talking about the 72 Goetia and all that, where does that come from? If that comes from an Islamic tradition, then they probably speak Arabic. If we're talking about the archangels, they probably speak Hebrew. You know what I mean? So we have to put all these things into context, which is not easy to do, but it's very necessary to do. But that's why you have people who are willing to do these things and put it in book forms and help us to guide ourselves through all these mysteries. And that's why these are called mysteries. They're not supposed to be obvious. It's not supposed to be simple. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be fun. The only thing that keeps you in the game is your own self-illumination and your own determined idea to decode the mysteries. And it ain't even for a reward. It's not even that you have a reward at the end of the tunnel, because the reward is really just you having act. Okay, I think we're back. So let me silence all these notifications so that we don't get kicked off again. Okay. Doing rituals for Raha Kiwit for 15 years. Do you have the deck? Do you have the Book of Thoth? Because when you say Raha Kiwit, are you a student of the Lima? How deep are you into the Lima? How deep are you into the Book of Thoth? because all these things matter. Because sometimes if we work with spirits outside of the system, it's different than when you are familiar with the system and you know exactly what it represents. Do you know where Ra HaKuit is in the Book of Thoth? What tarot card displays Ra HaKuit, right? Because then that gives you more insight into what he is and what he is about once you understand the context he is placed in. All right, let's see. I didn't mean to even get this deep into it because I know this is not stuff that we usually talk about on the channel. But this will be a good introduction that there's deeper mysteries that I keep certain things concealed. Because again, this is like the average person is not going to find any of this stuff interesting. So that's why I have the website for those who find this type of stuff interesting. I put most of that stuff on the website. What's up, Harmony 9? I got a dream 11 years ago. When I woke up from it, I found the Book of the Law. So how did the Book of the Law change you? Occult artificial intelligence is in the communication stream these days? Absolutely, because we're going to always have a counterbalance. We're going to always have a counter resistance. We're going to always have people who's throwing out misinformation just to throw people off of the path, right? So it's going to always be something that doesn't make sense. You studied something, then somebody comes with a whole nother alternative version that doesn't make any sense. But this is why I mean, once you commit it to memory, you don't have to worry about any of these things. If you're still working with books, you got a long way to go. Once you illuminate yourself from within, you don't have to worry about all this other stuff because the spirit communicates with you directly because you have allowed it to by putting this into your memory, memorizing it, knowing it by heart, then you are able to manifest it. So you don't have to worry about what anyone else says or does because the true tree is within. The tree of life is just talking about the human body. So if it's talking about the human body, what is within the human body? A spirit, or you can say a soul, or you can say both. The spirit is what allows us to develop our psychic abilities, right? So when I say the spirit is communicating with you, I'm just talking about your own holy guardian angel. So your holy guardian angel comes to you directly once you illuminate yourself from within. So once you illuminate yourself from within, you have a higher intelligence that's able to communicate with you so that can sort out the lies from the facts. So the books are not going to be able to teach you or to guide you through the lies or the facts. That's the job of the holy guardian angel, or as most people call today, the higher self. The higher self is what guides you through the mysteries that you can't really decode on your own, right? But then your communication with the holy guardian angel is different for everybody. The only language you need is light. Well, I guarantee if you say that to somebody, they're not going to know what you're talking about. Because when you say the only language that you need is light, what does that really mean? Right? You say you have to go further than that. You can't just say that and expect anybody, oh, what do you mean by that? That's not enough. You gotta go deeper than that. That's not enough for people. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. How would they know exactly what you're talking about? I guarantee you get 10 people and you ask them what's the definition of light, they probably is going to give you 10 different answers. You see what I mean? Like we have to be as detailed as we possibly can so that there is no confusion, right? So if it is a tree of life for you or the Kabbalistic teachings, which is a map of the universe, that takes you out of the confusion. If it is the clip off, it takes you out of the confusion. This is why these are not things that we're even supposed to study anyway. That's why all I study is the forbidden arts, forbidden this, dark, that, because we're not supposed to, right? Why not? Why are we kept away from the secrets? Why do we have to go through all these demons and these ghouls and these goblins and these jinn and the selling of the soul? Like they put all this extra shit on these darker demons, and why? Because obviously these darker spirits are older spirits or older deities that we were completely in tune with, but due to religion, it made everything dark and demonic, and the only light becomes Jesus or Jesus or El Cristo Negro. That becomes the only source of light, and everything else is demon and something from hell, But is that how we created it? Is that because if it comes from us, is that how we were worshiping? We were just worshiping hellish beings. We didn't have no access to light. We were completely veiled in darkness. If that's what we believe, based on what we're taught, because that's what religion teaches us, that everything that came before it is bullshit, right? Because the only way to get to God is through Jesus. That's according to Christianity. Like the only way to get to God is through Jesus. Fuck everything else that came before, because it's all bullshit. Then when you say the Prophet Muhammad in Islam, he destroyed all the idols in Mecca. Then said the only God is the one God, Allah. So what about the people that created Mecca, that built Mecca? Because it wasn't the Muslims. What about them? So they were just some hellish ass beings, but they built the holy city of Mecca. So the holy city of Mecca was built by hellish beings, by idol worshippers. You see, it makes no sense at all. Once we started to look at the history, like, okay, what happened before? Everything before this is bullshit. Why? Why would the spirit even lead us astray just for someone else to come and tell, oh, this is all bullshit, go this way? But these same people is what built the lands in which we occupy to this day. Christians didn't build Jerusalem. Muslims didn't build. None of these people that occupy these lands built these lands. They just occupied. They're just there. They didn't construct these lands. They're not the builder. They're not the architects of this land. The lands were already holy. Who made the holy city of Mecca holy? Who made Jerusalem holy? It wasn't the religious people, because they wasn't even on the planet. There was no religion when these places were being constructed. There was no religion. So the fact that our religion tells you that anything that came before it, so even the builders of the lands were on some devilish shit, according to religion, because according to religion, don't nothing else matter except the prophet and God or Allah. So in this case, all of the forbidden arts, all of the forbidden magic, all of the dark stuff is just things that we already mastered, we already had touch, we've already did everything we can possibly do with it. Because that's also saying that the pyramid builders were on bullshit as well, because they were so-called pagan worshipers. You go to Egypt, they were worshiping many gods. They didn't worship one god, except briefly when Akhenaten was in charge and he made the monotheism. So everybody worships the sun, or the Aten. So the true origin of monotheism comes from Akhenaten when he was in rulership for 13 years. So the 13 years of the rule of Akhenaten was the first time that a single deity was to be worshipped, before all this religion was even on the planet. So if anybody gets that credit, it should be Akhenaten, but they tried to erase him from history like he didn't even exist. Why? Because he embodied the masculine and the feminine. That's why when you look at his image, you know, he has the belly or the pouch of a woman. He got thighs like a woman. He looks very feminine, even though he maintained his masculinity. So they wanted to completely eradicate him from history. But he was the first one to bring about this whole one God worship. But he doesn't get the credit. It comes from the prophets. But the prophets were not the first ones to introduce us to monotheism. So this is why, I mean, like the whole Christianity, the Islam and the Judaism, all these things it veils the actual history, so that you think that the actual history comes from boats and shit. Or, you know, we actually went through floods and we went through the Garden of Eden, and it's like, okay, well, what actually happened? If Elijah Muhammad told us that the universe is 76 trillion years old, why are we thinking it's the year 2000? We really got people who think the earth has only been here 2,000 years. But that didn't come from us. Who told us that? Oh, that's right, religion, right? So you see, there's no way to get any clarity when we look at these things literal. When we look at the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Talmud, when we look at all these things literally, there is no way to get any source of actual fact, because you're going to be going in circles forever. That's the right-hand path, because that's essentially what people are trying to do anyway, because they want to assimilate themselves with God. That's the right-hand path. The left-hand path is you becoming more of an individual, you becoming your own Lord and Savior. I, self, law, and master. That's the left-hand path, and you're not supposed to be on this path. That's the forbidden path. You're going straight to hell doing that shit according to religion. Where religion only promises you to integrate with the divine. You basically remain a slave to a deity. The left-hand path, you free yourself from slavery. So it all depends on what people's perspective is, right? So let me actually get to these questions. People only have faith for some reason in the Bible without decoding it themselves. I can tell you exactly why they have faith in it, because I've been reading. You know what I mean? I'm always reading, I'm always decoding. I know exactly what happened. I can tell you right now. You know why people believe in the Bible? You know why people believe in these myths? Because they're based on real principles from different cultures that predates it. What do I mean? Let me make this very clear, because Martin Luther King wrote about this as well. But we never hear about that. We never hear about the letter that Martin Luther King wrote while he was in college, decoding all of the traditions or the cults before Christianity. No one ever mentions that shit. No one mentions that. I'm like, yo, but everything is there. We only know him by the peaceful marches and shit. That's not what he was about, right? This is why people believe in religion. We'll just deal with Christianity. Because they fused all of the traditions from their rivals at the time. So in other words, if they had a certain belief system, the rivals, all of the rivals to Christianity, like the cult of Kybele, so on and so forth, there were multiple rivals of Christianity. All they did was assimilate those teachings into Christianity. So people are like, oh, I resonate with that. Of course you resonate with it, because it's your shit. Of course you resonate with it, but they took it and made it put it under the white Jesus. That's all they did. So when people read the Bible and like, oh, this is truth, they're right, but it's your older truth assimilated under a different name, under a different deity. That's all it is. So that's why people resonate with it, because it is actually truthful. It is based in facts. It is deeper than what we know, because they assimilated it into the design. But this is never talked about, this is never spoken about, and it won't ever be talked about and won't ever be spoken about, but this is the actual reality. So this is why people are even religious in the first place. It's not that they actually believe in everything that's being said, but there is truth within it, because it's older truth that were assimilated into it. This is how it actually works. And again, if people want more information, just read Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter that he wrote in college. He broke all of this down. But we just never hear about it. We worship him for all this peace shit, and he was nothing about that. He talks about how all of the symbolism goes back to mushrooms. Adam and Eve, the tree of life, this is talking about mushrooms. This is talking about psychedelics. It's all documented already. But no one wants to read this shit. Everyone wants to paint this man in a different image. He didn't represent none of that. That's why you see pictures with him with Elijah Muhammad toward the end of his life. He was actually about to assimilate himself with Elijah Muhammad. There's images, there's pictures of them together. And that's when shit got dangerous, because they was going to be one force. So this is what I mean. Like, once we put all this into historical context, it actually makes perfect sense. So this is a reason why people are religious and believe in religion, because they took your truth and gave you a different deity, and they gave you a different image. That's all it is. But it's still your truth. So of course you're going to believe in your truth. That's why if you just read the Bible and it's like, oh, none of this is wrong, of course. But you have to know how to decode it. You have to know how to take it beyond the literal context to see it for what it really is. But again, that's not something that someone else can do for you. Everything is here, but it just takes time. And that's just one thing people don't have, right? They don't have time. They got a million other things going on. They don't have time to do this work, right? There's just no time in the day for it. We all got the same 24 hours, but there's just no time in the day. But we feel that this is so important. How do we not find time for it? And if you don't have time during the day, what about when you dream? What about when you sleep? If you don't even remember your dreams and you don't dream, that's 8 hours wasted, according to me. Because you should never break your consciousness. Even when you sleep, you should be dreaming and aware of your dream and getting more information in your dream. So when you wake up refreshed with more knowledge than you went to sleep with. If that's not happening, it's not that it can't happen. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to be awake when we dream. That's what we're supposed to do. So the fact that we're not, we're just too tired, we're just too drained and exhausted. Why? What are we really doing? Other than what we're not supposed to be doing, right? I guarantee I done heard every fucking excuse known to man and woman. I've heard every excuse. And it's all like, all right, so you just saying that other things are more important than the truth, basically, right? I done heard everything. So I've been making these videos for 7 years now. I done heard everything. I done talked to so many people. I done heard it all. I done heard it all. I done seen it all. I done experienced it all. Again, I done seen it. I done felt it. I done seen it on the east, west, north, south. It's always an excuse. It's always a reason. And I'm like, well, how the fuck did I find time for this shit? Where do I get all this time from? How is my time any different than anyone else's? Or is it? All right, let's see. Why is E-melanin so important? Is it the ticket to higher dimensions? Or Euromelanin? I think I may be saying it wrong. Euromelanin. I wouldn't even say it's so important. It's really not important because you don't. It's one thing to be scientific and to know these things technically, but that doesn't guarantee anything. You can say everybody has melanin, right? Everybody has melanin. Everyone has different forms of melanin. I might not have the same melanin you have. Depending on the skin tones and all that, everyone has melanin. The trees have melanin, right? Everything has melanin is what gives everything color. And before melanin, you have carbon. So I would say carbon is really carbon, because if we take it away from melanin, you're gonna go to carbon, right? So the secret is carbon, right? Because again, the whole melanin talk, we've been talking about that for a while, right? That's not a new concept whatsoever. But we see so that everybody has melanin, but that doesn't influence your state of consciousness at all. Why? Because it must be activated. Just because you have it, don't mean this is going to take you to some deep place without you activating it. And what activates the melanin or the carbon? Light. Light or truth, right? I don't want to just say light and well, what is light? Light is truth, right? You have to illuminate yourself with the truth in order for melanin to do anything for you. It's not just going to work because you have it. And this is why I'm saying, people, the ego mania that this has manifested just sickens me to my stomach. The ego mania that people have developed because they think they have something special. They really don't. But the ego mania, well, I'm this, so I'm great. It's crazy. But this is exactly what holds people back, because they feel like they don't have to put that work in, that they don't have to decode that scholarship, that they don't have to get into that meditative state of mind. So what allows you to go into higher states of consciousness is to get deeper into the meditative consciousness. Meaning when you put in that work, the more work you put in, the higher your consciousness becomes. It comes from work. It's not just going to happen because you have a certain chemical in your body. Because we know alchemy is all about chemical reactions. So if alchemy is all about chemical reactions, obviously there has to be more steps involved than just having it in and of itself. So the process of alchemy is what allows you to even decode truth. Anybody can read the Bible, but your third eye is what decodes it. You can put the Bible in front of 10 people, read the first chapter, and you're going to get 10 different perspectives, because it's going to be based on their level of understanding. It's not just you get to read something and you immediately know what it means. The spirit actually decodes it for you once you activate the spirit within. See, when you activate the spirit within, you can read anything and your third eye will decode it for you. This is what this is really talking about. This is what this really means. That's a process. But again, if you just throw the Bible at 10 random people, they're probably not going to be able to go through that process. Why? Because they got a million and one other things to do. I've been watching all day. I've been watching this shit because I pay attention to astrology and all this shit. I realize every time people move and every time the energy shifts, it's based upon the planetary hours. Whereas most people have no idea. Most people don't even go that deep into astrology. Planetary hours, planetary days, they don't even go into it. But it's instinctual because I'm watching, because I have all this up here. I'm looking like, oh, the hour change. Look, people going this way, people going this way, people coming in, people leaving. Every time the planetary hour change, somebody's coming in, somebody's leaving. I'm like, oh, okay. Not because they know, but because the influence of the planets have an effect on our physical vessel, whether we realize it or not. This is why we must study the instinctual nature of who and what we are, because this is what controls us, or most of us. Most people are controlled by their instincts. They're not controlled by their conscious mind or their subconscious mind. They're controlled by their unconscious mind, and that's where your instincts are. So, oh shit, I'm hungry. Oh shit, I gotta do this. Oh shit, I gotta do that. Oh, I gotta do this. That's all instincts. That's all instinctual nature. That's all based on planets and attributes and zodiacs that most people don't know anything about. But this is what rules people's lives. And I've seen it play out. I mean, I can sit anywhere and just look at the planetary hours, and when shit changes, I see shit changes. When the hours change, when the days change, this is what controls people, not their conscious mind. Because again, what are most people doing? Most people are not utilizing their conscious mind, and they probably barely even know about the subconscious. So what's really controlling people? It's the planets. It's their chakras, whatever you want to call it. All right? This is all based on observation. That's why I be getting kind of furious sometimes, because I see it all playing out. Okay, let's see what's up. Let me make sure we're good on time. Okay, we're good. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Where do you go after you die? You go to the place that you created after you die. But let me go deeper than that, right? That's not enough, right? When most people die, they reincarnate. So when the average person dies, they reincarnate and they get a different physical body based on the magnetism. Why? Because they haven't did anything to offset the magnetism that is initiated at the time of your death. So at the time of your death, just like your dreams, see, most people don't know about dreams, so they're not going to know about life or death, right? That's why they say sleep is the cousin of death. You study sleep to understand death, but most people don't know anything about sleep. It's just pure blackness, and it's dreams that they don't know what's going on. So the same place you would be dreaming, and you wake up, you don't know where you are. Like, oh shit, how did I get here? Right? That's what happens when people die. They just wake up and you don't know what the fuck is going on, and you just, like, the dreams it's like, for anybody who's aware of their dreams, it's like a magnetic pull. It's like you're not even in control of the dreams until you snap out of it. Like, you have to force yourself to be in control of the dreams. So until you force yourself to be in control of the dreams, it's like it's a magnetic pull that's kind of pulling you along. You're kind of being strung along, but about whatever is going on. That's exactly how death happens. If you don't disconnect yourself from that magnetic pull, which is going to take you directly into another human vessel, and that's where most people go. So unless you have enough power, because you was putting in that work during life is all about preparing for death, but most people just living, just doing shit like they don't have to pay for everything they do, right? But this is how most people live. Most people are not preparing for death. They're just living life like this is the end all be all, like they just disappear after this. But you are in full control of what happens after you die if you put in this work. That's why you have occultists. That's why you have the great work. That's why we have these mysteries to study in the first place, to prepare you for the other side, where there should not be any fear in your heart about the other side if you master your dreams. You should know, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen because I've been there. You created the place you're going to go, and you know exactly where you go when you astral travel, because you have enough power to keep yourself there without something pulling you away from it, because you don't have any attachments. Most people die with attachments. So when they see that attachment, they go towards it, right into another physical being or a physical body, because they are still attached to this world like this is the end all be all. This is the lowest form of reality of life. The human reality, this is the lowest, but people are drawn to this low shit. Like it ain't much, like, but again, it's too spooky for most people. So they just want to ignore the reality until it's too late. And that's just the process that people go through. They continue to ignore until they can't. Right? They continue to fuck themselves up till they get sick. This is just what people do, right? Because they're led by their instincts. Okay, let me go. What are some lost Gnostic Bible chapters that were took out? Well, there's a whole book called the Gnostic Bible that has compiled all of the books that were taken out of the Bible. So there's an actual book called the Gnostic Bible that you can read, which were originally in the Bible but that were taken out, such as the Book of Enoch and so on and so forth. Then the question is, why did they take them out? Because it had truth in it. They couldn't disguise it. It's just some works that you can't disguise. So they don't, because you think, like, why take anything out of the Bible if it's supposed to be truth? Why take anything out? Because you don't want people to know. If you don't want people to know, you must want to be in control of the people and their consciousness. So, of course, you're going to take books out. Because if you read the Book of Enoch, it gives you a different perspective of things. Right? But, of course, there's many others. That's just the most famous one. But there's a book called the Gnostic Bible that compiles all of the books that were taken out. So you have a whole plethora of information. All right? I appreciate everybody adding on with the questions and all that. I appreciate it. Because we're going to go right down the list. What's a good spirit to work with doing Tantra? Work with one of the 10 Mahavitas. It all depends on which one you're drawn to. So you have 10 tantric goddesses just waiting, to sit on your shit, basically. Let's just be raw here. You got 10 goddesses waiting to take you to the next level. So whichever goddess that you resonate with more. So it may be Kali, it may be Green, Tara. You got 10 goddesses to work with that fully specializes in Tantra. So work with one of the 10 Mahavitas. If we exercise magical paradigms, can the skills we acquire descend and shift to a lower vibration, or does it stay as if it were empowered? So basically what I'm pulling from this is, when we acquire skills, do they stay or do they shift? Yes, you have to maintain your position. That's with anything in life. If you are in a position of power, you have to maintain that position. You don't just get, I got elected and that's it. You have to continuously win over the people. You have to continuously put in work. That's what I'm saying. Like, people are afraid of work, and so it's crazy, right? With any position of power, you have to maintain your position. So you have to constantly put in, not just the work you already put in, but now you have to put in more work. Because people have to continue to verify you. Like, we want that person to be our leader. We want that person to be in charge of whatever it is. You have to continuously prove yourself so that you are worthy of the position that you have acquired. So not only did you have to prove yourself to get to that position, you have to constantly prove yourself to maintain that position. So you have to constantly put in work, put in work, put in work, put in work, put in work. It's just your understanding grows and grows and grows and grows. So you figure out different ways to do that. But you have to constantly maintain your position. So even when you rank up and you build up your rank, you have to maintain your position. Everybody has a rank. Nobody talks about this shit, but I figured it out. Everyone has a rank. I'm not just talking about your rank and your position and your job. Everyone has a rank. Everybody has a rank. That's why people respect some people and other people are not respected. It has nothing to do with what they do for a living. What you do for a living is completely up to you. But everybody has a rank. We are all ranked based on our deeds. So we all have a rank. So that's why you can have people in any position. Some people are loved or hated. based on their deeds, right? Because we all have a rank. We all have, you can say, a position to maintain in life other than what we do for a living, because that just pays your bills. We're talking about spiritually. Everyone has a rank. Everyone has a position to maintain. Everyone has the ability to ascend in their ranks. But the only way to do that is you have to become aware of these things and that they actually exist. So that's why people know who you are before you say who you are, right? You can walk around, people know who you are, and you don't have to say it because they can feel it in their essence. They can feel your essence because your aura is just that big. When you have a big aura, people can feel that aura. They don't have to ask, well, who are you? Even if you say your name, they may not even know. But they can feel something special about you because you've been putting in work. You got your breathing on point, you got your meditation, you got your yoga on point, whatever it is that you do and continue to do, you continuously practice your dream work and you're completely destroying your karma so that you are not weighed down. This is an everyday effort. And it is noticeable. That's why if you are ever in the presence of a yogi or an ascended master, you can tell. There's something about this motherfucker. You can just tell. They put that work in and they continue to put it in. Well, who was the first one to introduce you to the Ascended Masters? See, most people don't even know that. The Ascended Masters came from somebody. Who was the first one to mention the Ascended Masters? Most people don't know, right? Okay. Peace, what's up? 305 Capricorn. What's up, Grin Hades? Everything is good. Everyone hit the like button. I appreciate that. Shaman Cole. Let's see. Make sure. Again, I want to get as many as I can. You know, I'll be here till the phone die out. Because again, I want to make sure every question is answered to the best of my ability. Okay, where are we? What are your thoughts on, what is this? Brahma Karya. And can you have a psychedelic experience with urine therapy? You actually can. I've had a psychedelic experience utilizing urine therapy, so I know that to be true based on my actual experience. So yes, can you have a psychedelic experience doing urine? Well, it's urine looping. So it's not just urine therapy, because urine therapy is a big science. Urine looping, when you're drinking nothing but your own urine. So you don't drink nothing else. You're just looping. And again, it's just, you know, most people are even disgusted by that. So, but I've of course, I experimented with it because I want to know. I don't give a fuck how anybody look at me. I probably put urine on my face today. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if it works, it works. That's just my mentality. If it works, it works. I don't care how anybody else feels about it or what people think about it, because they have a mental blockage. While I'm over here doing shit that works. They got mental, oh, that's nasty. Yeah, it's nasty, but I'm over here having psychedelic experiences. Well, so they can't get over that hang up. And again, this is why most people don't get anywhere in terms of their spiritual evolution. They got all the resources in the world, but spiritually they're dead. Like, I walk around here, I see deadness everywhere. You know what I mean? Everybody got positions, everybody got resources, but it's like, all right, I can't even hold a conversation with people because they're like, yo, you see, I be out here in the open. I don't be hiding. I'm right next to a synagogue. You know what I mean? Like, anybody can hear what I'm saying. But you see, nobody approaches because it's like, yo, it's like, let me stay over here. You know, that's just how it is, right? So I don't let my mental hang-up stop me from putting this work in or getting to work. So if I got to experiment with my own urine, for this example, then I'm doing it. And I got the results from that, so I know that to be true. So to answer your question, yes, you can have a psychedelic experience. I've had one through urine looping. I just had to get over that mental block, and I did it. And I got the results, so I know it's real. So can't nobody convince me different, can't nobody tell me different, because I've had my own experiences, because I had to get over the mental block. So again, anybody, so if I'm ever mentioning urine therapy to anybody, they automatically get disgusted. But if I look at their spiritual level, it's like, all right, I see why you're disgusted. I see why you're completely, that's the last thing you want to think about. That's the last thing you want to do, because you're just not ready for it. Okay? Let's keep it going. Let's see. Can you explain the Capricorn energy? Capricorn is the energy of the devil, or the sea goat. Capricorn is the energy of the sea goat. So whenever we think about Capricorn, we think about the goat, but it's really the sea goat. So if you really want to understand Capricorn, you must study the sea goat. And when we understand the energy of Capricorn and why it resonates with the devil, because if we want to know why it resonates with the devil in tarot, right? So Capricorn is correlated to the devil card, or on the 22 major arcana, right? If you take that on face value, you're going to completely miss the point. Why? Because if you look at it from a religious perspective, you're going to be like, okay, why do I even want to work with this energy? This is supposed to be evil, demonic, sinister, so on and so forth. So you're going to completely miss the point if you have a religious mind. It's just going to like, okay, this is something I need to stay away from. Or if you look at it from an occultic perspective, if you look at it from the Hebrew perspective, if you realize that, oh, Capricorn correlates with the Hebrew letter Ion. And Ion resonates with the eye, the all-seeing eye, which we see on the back of the dollar. You see that all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar, and Capricorn resonates with the eye of insight. The eye that gives you insight. So if you look at the goat has 3 eyes. So whatever Capricorn card you study, you see the goat or the sea goat or the demon with 3 eyes. Because that is the Hebrew correlation. It's not just there for no reason. You see, once you incorporate the Hebrew, you see like, oh, I see what all the symbols represent. I see what they're trying to say. Right? But you have to go beyond the religion. Right? If you really want to get the point, if you really want to activate. So you can say that to really activate the third eye, that's actually the devil's gift. I know that's just too much, right? That's the devil's gift. If you activate your third eye, that all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar, that's the devil's gift. All right? So it's all about how you take it, right? But you see, this is why most people are stay far away from this, because once you get too deep for it, it's too much, right? It's too much. Okay, let's see. I appreciate everybody adding on. So I'm just gonna keep it as pure and raw as I possibly can, because you see, this is just what I'm doing every day, all day. I don't take no breaks. You know what I mean? You see, I'm constantly in the world of the world. I'm not somewhere secluded. You know what I mean? I'm constantly in front of people, constantly, communicating. I'm on. My eyes is directly communicating with other eyes all the time. You know what I mean? So I know it. Let's see. Would you suggest astrology to anyone as a beneficial tool to be utilized? Absolutely. 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 But surface astrology, no. Surface astrology, no. Because I've went way beyond the surface. Like I said, when I talk about planetary days and hours, most people are not even that deep into astrology. So go into the deeper levels of astrology. So learn the basics, yes. But is that the end all be all? Absolutely not. Am I just looking at charts all day? Absolutely not. When I actually give people readings, if I'm just looking at charts, no, it's all, I have my own way of doing it, right? Because there's many different levels to astrology, right? You got midpoints. Most people don't even know about midpoints, right? The midpoint between points is like, it's so advanced. But if you want to be detail orientated, then you have to go into more advanced levels. That's also why I study the Vedic astrology. So when you see me talking about astrology, I'm always talking about the Eastern perspective. I'm not even talking about the Western astrology, because I'm like, it's too easy. It's too easy to decode it. It's not really going to take you anywhere. It's not going to show you anything. It's more so just dealing with your personality. But if you want to deal with your soul force, you got to go to the East. There's 4 dimensions of astrology. Most people don't even know it, right? I'm not talking about the 4 schools of astrology. There's 4 schools of astrology. Then there's 4 dimensions of astrology, right? Most people have no idea. Let me go through it. You have 4 schools of astrology, right? You have the natal astrology, natal charts and all that. You got mundane astrology. This is how you tell world events. Natal, mundane, honorary astrology, just to quickly answer questions, and you have what is called the. Let me make sure I'm saying it right, right? Because I don't want to make any mistakes here. Natal, mundane, honorary. Then the fourth level is what is called. There's many different ways to say it, because most people are only into that one dimension of natal astrology. So that's why I brought up just the wheel and people looking at wheels. Is that the end all be all? No, because we have to go deeper. We have to peel back the layers. Most people don't even know about lunar mansions. That's Eastern astrology, right? Lunar mansions tell you a lot more than what you know. That's why I'm like, this is just things I can throw out. I can constantly throw out. But let me stick to the point, right? Because I don't want to confuse people. So the question was, is astrology beneficial? Yes, beyond the surface. So if you are a person that's just looking at a natal chart and you're looking at where the sun is in Aries, the moon is in this, the Mars is in that, it's like anybody can say anything with that, right? That's not going to really take you anywhere, because again, you can get 10 people to look at that same chart and they're going to give you 10 different perspectives, because astrology is artistic, right? But before you go into astrology, you have to master numerology, which most people don't do. Most astrologers are not numerologists. Most numerologists are not tarot readers. Most tarot readers are not astrologers. See, it's not connected. It's all over the place. That's why I had to bring it all together. Like, let me see what this is. This is because numerology is going to take you to astrology. Astrology is going to take you to the tarot. Tarot is going to take you to the Hebrew. The Hebrew is going to take you to the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is going to take you to the clip-off. And so on and so on and so on and so on. You see, this all interconnected, but most people are not connecting the dots. They just stay where they're comfortable with. So no, don't be one of these comfortable as astrologers, and that's all they know, right? Don't be one of these comfortable astrologers and they're not exploring the various dimensions of astrology. Don't be one of those. Is that going to help you? Absolutely not. But if you continue to go deeper, will it help you? Absolutely. So, going back to the main point here, because I was talking about the 4 schools of astrology. Natal, mundane, honorary. Man, it's like it's slipping my mind. But guess what? I got it. Give me 1 second, because I want to be as accurate as possible. Give me 1 second. I'll just do it this way. I'll do it this way right now. Give me 1 second. Pull out my secondary phone. All right. So give me 1 second. In the meantime, let me continue to answer these questions. You didn't get notified. You probably will never get notified when I come online. I don't think anybody gets notified. But you already know how it works. Again, once this live stream is over, it'll be available it takes like 24 hours for this to be live. That's just how crazy it is for me. Once this is over, so these 36 people, you're not even going to be able to watch this again until 24 hours, because that's when it becomes live for everyone else. That's just how crazy it is. This is why I really don't do the live streams anymore, because it just takes too long. I'm like, damn, by the time people listen to it, like it's already a whole nother day and shit. I'm like, it's ridiculous, right? So that's why I've been more doing the pre-recorded videos, right? I did the pre-recorded videos because I can instantly put those up and people can watch it immediately when I put it up. But when I do live streams, it takes forever. It takes forever for it to become live. So and then 18 hours, 20 hours. It's like, okay, well, it's just sitting in limbo, right? Because that's one of the videos I'm going to do coming up, talking about the 9 levels of hell and all that. Because I did a community post and I was asking people, what do you guys want me to talk about? So the 6 videos I released yesterday was based on those questions that was asked. So those are the short videos that I'm doing that I just put up. These are based on questions that were asked, right? So I have about 5 or 6 more videos I have to go through. But again, so I don't do too many live streams because it just takes forever for it to be live. So people be literally watching a whole nother day after it's been recorded. Lives are always better though. They are better, but you get what I'm saying? What can I do if the shit doesn't come out to the next day? So I already know I'm blackballed because I know the type of shit that come out my mouth. I'm not confused here. I know exactly why. I know exactly what's going on. But for those who are in the midst, for those who actually watch in real time, you guys are the only ones that really get the shit in real time because it ain't gonna happen no other way. But let me get back to the questions. Again, I don't want to lose track here. I just want to quickly look at this real fast so I can give you accurate information. Let me see. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, see, if I type this in, it just takes you to some crazy shit. This is what I mean. This is what I wanted to verify. Like, if I type this in, it's like they're going to take you all over the place. It's not going to take you to what you need to know at all. It's not going to take you. Like, I typed in something. It's taking me to shit that does not matter at all. I typed in 4 schools of astrology. It's just showing me wheels and shit. And I'm like, this don't have anything to do with astrology. Well, the different dimensions of astrology. It's not even here. So let me actually. I know exactly where to get it from though. So this is what I mean. So I understand most people that trying to figure this shit out. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. But that third eye got to be activated. That third eye got to be activated. Just give me 1 second. Let me answer the next question while I have this. So I have using both hands here. Let me see. Oh, that's what I was missing. Electional astrology. There we go. Electional astrology. So let me bring it all back again. I did want to miss the question. So there's the 4 schools of astrology. So I just had to quickly research that so I'm not wrong. So you have the natal astrology, which is natal charts. Mundane astrology, which is about world events and cities. So when you do charts for bigger cities, you're utilizing mundane astrology. Right? Then you have the honorary astrology, which is just a quick yes or no answer. Then you have electional astrology. Electional astrology is when is the right time to do what? That's electional astrology. When is the right time to start this business? When is the right time to start looking for relationships? When is the right time to start dating? That's all electional astrology. When, based on your chart, when is the right time for you to set certain things in motion? Right? See, most people have not even heard about these dimensions because this is more Eastern astrology. Most people only know about the natal. Most people have no idea how to do mundane, electional, or honorary because this is all advanced. But these will absolutely help you. If you're a true student of astrology, you need all 4 dimensions, right? So I just wanted to quickly look that up again so I don't want to mislead anybody. So those are the 4 schools: electional, honorary, mundane, and natal. Okay. So let's get back to the questions here. Okay. Is being a widow my karma? And is there more to come, or can a person know these things? Yeah. So being a widow means you are in tune with death. So the widow card is like the scorpion card or the Scorpio card in the tarot, the 13th major arcana, which is the energy of death. So all the widows out there, or the males who lost wives or girlfriends and all that, you are charged with a special type of energy. You are charged with the Scorpio energy, the energy of the scorpion, which is all about transmutation and transformation. See, when most people lose a person, it fucks them up. And rightfully so. When you lose your other half, you lose someone that's very dear to you, of course it's going to fuck you up. There's no way around that. But it's all about that bounce back. How are you going to bounce back from it? That's what matters. Why? Because once you get deeper into your spirituality, you realize that you can still communicate. Like, there's nothing really lost. They just become a part of you. you actually absorb the energy. Because who would they give their energy to? If they had an option to give their energy and their essence to somebody, who do you think they'd give it to? They'd give it to the one that was closest to them. So you actually can embody their principles and their energies when you get deeper into your spirituality. And they actually, you can say they become guardians for you, or a guardian. They become your guardian. So it actually makes you more spiritually inclined. So the closer you are to death, the more spiritually inclined you are. Like, you ever been in a hospital, and people die every day in hospitals, right? But hospitals are ruled by Pisces. Pisces rules over the hospital. And Pisces is the dreamer, and Pisces is where we activate our psychic ability, because it deals with the back of the head, the unconscious mind. Pisces deal with the unconscious mind. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the hanged man, the one who is hanging himself upside down to create a spiritual experience. Right? So hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay. Just like Bobby Hemme said, when you die, don't go to the light. Definitely. Shout out to Bobby Hemme. We already know. For those who know, you already know. Shout out to the teacher. Shout out to him. He was the first one to mention the devil. I don't remember what the name of the video is, the science of the devil and all that. He was the first one to really do that. And I remember watching that. He was saying, like, his lights had to get cut off. He was going through so much, physical madness to even reveal that information. I think he was the first to reveal the secrets of the Baphomet and all that. And this was back in the 90s. I'd be like 1996 or 1998. So this is like 30 years ago, almost. So this is what I mean. The information been laid down. It's just that most people either don't know about it, don't have access to it, or just don't have enough attention span to get through. It's like 6-7 hours long. Yeah, but this information been laid down. So we have to come and continue to add on to that. Right? We have to continue to add on to what the teachers laid down. So shout out to Bobby Hemme, of course, because that's if I would say anybody was my teacher, it was definitely Bobby Hemme. I probably watched more of his works than anyone else, because of his delivery, because of his style. And I believe he was a Scorpio as well. So of course I would resonate with the Scorpio, me being a Scorpio. So, that's just that. And of course, Hemet is an Egyptian, an Egyptian name. And of course I took on an Egyptian name, the Amon Asheranu. Right? So I would say that. But shout out, much salute to all the teachers that have came before and that put this work down, that continue to put the work down, and that elevate all of us so that we can have some type of sense dealing with this reality, right? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, where are we? Let's see. It's a lot of information here. Hold on, I think I missed it. Let's see. I want to control my dreams, but I can't stay asleep all night. Well, to control your dreams, you have to practice inversion and also meditate before you go to sleep. You have to slow your brain waves down. People keep waking up because they're used to being in a certain brain wave, beta brain waves, if we want to be exact. Right? Most people just stay in beta brain waves and they're just up for no reason. They're just jittery and they're up. So you have to slow down your brain waves, but that comes from breathing. You have to reprogram your breathing. Literally, you have to reprogram yourself from the inside out. That's the only way to do it. You got to reprogram yourself from inside out, and the first thing to do is inversion. Stand on your head so that you have blood flowing to the crown chakra, and slow down your breathing and master your breath. Is this going to be overnight? No, it may take 30 days. It takes 21 days to develop a new habit. So it's going to at least take 21 days for anybody to do anything new. So if you want any results for anything, so that includes manifestation, that includes anything spiritual, it's going to at least take 21 days. So if you have that amount of consistency to keep it up for 21 days, then you will be able to see results. But it's going to take at least 3 weeks. At least 3 weeks. My sisters thought I was joining a satanic cult whenever I would watch Bobby Hemmett. Yeah, because he was on that shit. You know what I mean? Like, he was really about it. I would say the true Satanist, right? See, when people think of Satanism, they think about child sacrifice. They think about this. They think about what other people are doing. They don't think about what we did or what we are doing, right? They think about anything. You type in Satanism right now, it's gonna be what other people who have came after us start doing their own shit. They're not talking about the original teachings, the original way, the paths of Set. They're not talking about the clip off. It's just too much, right? True Satanists is clip off it, and they travel the 22 paths of Set. It's very simple. It's not hard. It has nothing to do with what you're doing. You're not spilling no blood. Did he pass? I don't think Bobby Hemmett passed. I just think he's finished teaching. You know what I mean? That's over with. So he just cool. And I think he's gonna cool, and he's gonna slide. He's gonna just do what he do. But I don't think he's gonna teach anymore. So he's just cooling. So I say shout out to him. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Am I still skating? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, a little while ago. I got the skateboard and all that. I still have it. I actually still have it. I still have my skateboard. But I wouldn't consider myself a skater. Not yet. Because I realized it. I think I told you already. It's like I was trying to learn how to skate. Then the fucking cops is watching me and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? So I would wait till like 12 a.m. at night when the streets are clear. And I go out, I take the skateboard out, and I'm just practicing. Then the cop want to pull up and park, right? The cops want to pull up and park and watch me and shit. I'm like, all right, but I get it, because I'm like, I guess skaters are associated with drugs and the underworld and all that, with the skulls. I'm like, all right, I get it. So yeah, whenever I was putting in that work, it was always bringing cops and shit, So I had to slow it down. But I still had the skateboard. But yeah, it was bringing a lot of unwanted attention, I would say. I didn't think it would bring that type of attention, but it did. But I'm like, oh, I get it. So it's understood. You missed all my questions, but I haven't answered every question yet. So sometimes I'm hitting the question immediately, but I'm still going back and answering the questions. So if you left a question mark by your question, I'm still going back up. I'm just doing my best to just hit and stay in a moment and still go back. So I haven't missed any questions. I will go back up, so don't worry about it. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Where are we? Yeah, there's a lot of questions I still need to answer. So I got everybody. Just give me 1 second. I know I may be 30 minutes behind or something, but I'm just doing my best to give full answers. So let's see. Do you believe in karma? I know I'm a good person, but I made some mistakes as a mortal. Well, there's two different variations of karma. You got the Eastern karma, you got the Western karma. Like, I just did a video called The Laws of Karma yesterday. I just put out a video literally yesterday called The Laws of Karma, but I'll answer it now. Do I believe in karma? Not in the traditional sense. Not in, okay, well, if you do something fucked up, then some shit is going to happen to you. Because it's all about perspective. For example, if two people are at war, not two people, two countries or two states, two worlds or whatever, if everybody is at war and you have to kill, who's wrong? You can say it's fucked up. But if somebody's invading your territory and you got to kill them, is that wrong? That you can say you don't want to kill anybody, but they're going to kill you. What are you going to do? It's kill or be killed, right? So it's all about the context in which you did what you did. It's all about the context in which you did what you did. I know I've done crazy shit. I've done just on this path, on this left-handed path, I've done some crazy shit. But do I feel that it's gonna come back on me? Because I'm like, no, it was all spiritually based, and I made sure it was sacred. So I didn't do anything outside of the context of spirituality. You know, so no, it's all about the context. And if you got weight on your heart, like damn, I'm still thinking about some shit I did years ago. You got to put in that great work. Put in that work so that you can ease your heart. So it's all about how you feel about what you did versus more so what you actually did. If it's still weighing on your chest, then you got to put work in so that your heart can lighten up, so that you don't force yourself into those bad circumstances, because it's more so based on how you feel about it than what you actually did. Right? So if you still feel some type of way, that's what you have to work on, because you can't take back whatever it is that you did. You can't take it back, but you can change how you feel about it. And you can make sure that you don't go down those paths again. Right? So let me let this airplane pass. Let's see. So do this as quickly as possible. Let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna try to speed this up a little bit. What are the best books to read? I can't even recommend no books. And I'm not just saying that just to be silly. You have to write your own book. I would say the best thing you can do is work with spirits and record your own experiences. Work with spirits and record your own experiences. That would be the best book that you can read. Spirits, work with the spirits. You know, because I can recommend a book, but what is the words going to mean? You know, what is the words really going to mean? But them spirits actually will change your life. So I'll say pick a spiritual pantheon and record your experiences. That would be the best book. Your own book that you write based on your own personal experiences. How can we create our own worlds to go to when death arrives in your dreams? You got to use your third eye in your dreams. You have to create. You can create from your dreams, and that bleeds out into the physical world. So you have to do it in a dream, or you have to do it in the astral plane. That's astral dynamics. Astral dynamics. You have to do it astrally. Of course, you can visualize whenever you want to, because that you can visualize in alpha brainwaves. You can do whenever you want to. It's just, what is your sense of heaven? What is your idea of heaven? You have to, well, what is my idea of heaven? Where do I want to go? What do I feel is necessary for me to do after this life? So you have to make your own decision. If we are the rulers of our own destiny, you have to make your own decision. So you have to make your own decision. There is no right or wrong answer. There's no good or bad. You just have to make your own decision as to what you decide that what is most important to you. How do you know where you are ranked? Just ask people to tell you how your aura feels. Just go up to random people. How do my aura feel? Well, what are you talking about? Well, you probably get a lot of that. Just ask. Because again, the public will not lie to you. See, this is the thing, right? Your family may lie to you, your friends may lie to you, but the public is not gonna lie. They're gonna they have no reason to lie to you. So just ask people that you don't know. Have conversations with people you don't know. So you have to go outside of your circle of familiar friends and family and be on the world stage. And the world, based on how the world treats you, you will know where you ranked. How does the world treat you? Because they're not lying to you. They're going to just treat you exactly how they feel you should be treated, right? That's how the world operates. So you have to get on the world stage and see how you are treated amongst the world perspective or the collective consciousness, right? That's the collective if we want to use those words. How does a collective consciousness feel about you? So just spend a day out in the world. You know, on your day off and whenever you have time, just go out into the world and be amongst the world and just see how the world treats you on the world stage. Are people open to you if you decide to speak to them? Are they afraid? Are they open? Do they listen? Are they trying to get away from you? You just have to really analyze people and see how they react to you. You have to study other people's reactions towards you. So when you study reactions towards you, you will know exactly where you fit. Like, okay, damn, 4 out of 5 people didn't want nothing to do with me. 10 out of 10 people were afraid. You will kind of get the point the more and more you operate on the world stage. So get out on the world stage and just see how people interact and how they respond to your aura. Do you still work with the Necronomicon current? And do you know any ways to contact Netalahotep and Yog? What is it? Sothoth. Yes, I've worked with all of the 50 Necronomicon spirits, just like I work with all 72 Goetia. I went through the whole pantheon, both pantheons. The Necronomicon energy is more angelic. The 72 Goetia is more demonic. So I would say Necronomicon is more angelic. It's more angelic. And if you want to work with them, just do the incantation. They all got sigils. Just find a sigil for Netalahotep. They all have sigils. They all have symbols. And charge it up with your energy. Put it on an altar. Again, however you do your magic is up to you. But just carve a sigil or a seal and carry it around with you. Chant the name. So do your incantations and visualize the seal in the back of your mind. And, just go about your life normally. And you will know when the spirit is, with you or interacting with you. You will know because it'd be something unusual. Right? So very simple. You don't have to make it too complex. Just very simple. Opinions on the current Mercury retrograde. Well, if this is Mercury retrograde, that's why I'm on live right now. That's why I'm live right now. I'm going to come through on the Mercury retrograde, right? Because when a planet is retrograde, it's going through its dark side, right? So when the planet is retrograde, it's going through the dark side. So of course I pop up doing a Mercury retrograde, communicating about dark shit, right? So this is my example of Mercury retrograde. Okay? All right. So let me do this very fast. Let's see where we are. Where are we? Can we email questions if you don't go live? Yeah, definitely. Anybody can email me. You feel free to join the website. You know what I mean? I have all type of services. So yeah, feel free to reach out. That's no problem. And again, don't be afraid to hit up the Cash App, $, Asha Show your support if you choose. Do you have more of a one-on-one you offer? Absolutely. So if anybody want to contact me directly, just hit up my email, asha@astronew.com, or just hit my line, 702-530-1197. So that's a quicker way. So it's going to go directly to the phone, then I'll be able to text you right back. 702-530-1197. So if you want to contact the one-on-one, the services, anything you need to know, you can hit my line directly. So if you don't want to hit my line, then hit the email. So there you go. So either email or the line. Not a problem. I busted a nut and put it on my third eye and it was vibrating for days. It's because that's the power of the sexual currency. I just did 3 articles on the website. I did a 2-part. I did 1 video, 1 article about sex, the whole sex magic, and I just did an article about the money and currency. So I just put out 3 articles today alone. Again, I'm gonna be just coming with infinite information, right? So, my penmanship is a lot different than me actually communicating. So I actually do more articles on the website. So it's just me writing. So for those who like reading more, then definitely check out the website. So definitely, I can understand that. There's no powerful energy than the sexual currency. So continue to build up your kundalini, continue to build up your sexual currency. It's going to always work in your favor once you put your mind to the balls or your mind to the Vesica Pisces. The yoni, the Vesica Pisces, the phallus, put your mind and unify that. The big head with the lower head. Make sure that they are always unified. What's good, Robin? So everybody, again, I may be way off or way behind, but again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. So let me speed this up. What does your diet consist of in these times? Very light, very, very light, very light. Most of the time I'm just eating like peanuts. It's just very light, very light. I try not to eat too heavy. Even though I just had like an In-N-Out burger. But I don't eat cheese and I don't eat the sauce. My diet has always been ridiculous anyway. Like I was never into dairy. I stopped eating pig when I was 15 when I converted to Islam. So it's a lot that happened in my past that like my diet was already whatever a spiritual diet is. Like I stopped eating meat when I was 18 before I even went to California. It's like I was already going through all these cycles. So I started back eating a little meat. You know, as it get colder, I may eat a little more meat. So as it's starting to get more colder, you know, I may implement a little meat into my diet. But other than that, I just keep it real light. Just keep it real light. I don't eat no junk food, no candy. Yeah, just real light, real light, real light. Nothing too heavy. Do you agree with the idea that global meditations can help us transition to 5D? I wouldn't recommend it because you have no idea who you're meditating with unless you know these motherfuckers and you know that they with the shits. So a global, you don't know what's even going on in the next household. So I'm not with the global meditations. You don't even know what a person is doing and your neighbor is doing. So you have no idea what's going on. And again, everybody's on their own cycles. So I wouldn't recommend. I would say get a close, like you only need 3, 4, 5, 6 people. You don't need that many people to really make some shit happen. Just as long as everybody's on the same page and who's really with the shit. So you really don't need a lot of people. Just get you a small group of people who's with the shits and y'all can make magic happen, you know, ridiculously. So it shouldn't be no problem. A small group of people is way more effective than a bunch of people meditating about the same thing, but you don't really know how these people operate. You know what I mean? You don't even know if you can hold a conversation with these people. You don't even know how dark they really are, you know? All right, so I'm at 10%, so let me, all right, I'll answer as many as I can until we check out. Got reoccurring dreams on the moon, but something happens, either some bullshit or I go back to Earth. Is that me trying to travel up the tree of life in my sleep? Well, the moon is right above Mount Kuf on the tree of life. So yes, that's you trying to enter into the astral planes, but you're still drawn to something earthly. So you still have earthly desires. So if you go to the moon and like, oh shit, is getting too crazy, it's because you're still drawn to the magnetism of the earth. You're still drawn to the magnetism of the earth. So you have to switch your magnetism by changing your brain waves. So go deeper into your brain waves so that magnetism does not hold you back. Which music instrument holds a very powerful spiritual effect? You got harps, you got any strings, because you know strings are associated with the devil. You know, Muslims are not allowed to listen to string music, so listen to string music. Beethoven, I would say Beethoven, yeah. Get you some Beethoven, that's all you need, Beethoven. And get the music that was inspired by the devil. Any music that was inspired by the devil, especially classical music that's inspired by the devil, listen to it, right? Because you got the violin and all that, listen to the devil, all right? Let's see. What are tips you would recommend for a beginner? To study the 4 brain waves. Study the 4 brain waves and learn how to tap yourself into all 4 of those brain waves. So you got beta, alpha, theta, delta brain waves. You have 4 the 4 main brain waves. So study how to slow your breath down and you know when you enter into each one so that you have a personal experience. You have personal experience about how to alter your brain waves, which you can alter through your breath and meditation and yoga. So breath, meditation, yoga, so that you can feel yourself descending into the 4 brain waves and you know exactly where you are and when you are. So start with the 4 brain waves, get your meditation on point, get your poise on point, get your posture on point, make sure your spine is straight, and just evolve. So for beginners, master the 4 brainwave states. All right. Any tips to be more lucid in the dreams? Inversion. Stand on your head 20 minutes before you go to sleep and your dreams will be lit up. So make sure the blood is going to the pituitary gland. All right. How to use martial art to tap into spiritual energy, trying to learn the science of how to unify that. Read Bruce Lee's book. So Bruce Lee was a master of combining the spiritual with the martial arts. So I don't remember what the name of his book is, but the book that was written by Bruce Lee. He wrote a book specifically dealing with that. So read Bruce Lee's book. All right. Peace. Okay. Thanks for listening. All right. I think that may be it. So I got through all the questions before the phone died off. Again, I appreciate everybody. You know, I'm going to be active daily, so even if I do pre-recorded videos, I'm going to come back, right? So I'm going to be active. Tips for empaths. Empaths resonate with cancer. Cancers are natural empaths, but we are all inner cancers. So empaths can feel energy in any perspective. They work with the water element. So if you want to increase your empathic ability, increase the water element in your home. So increase the water element, bowls of water, cups of water, 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 water. So if you want to increase your empathic ability, you must work with the water element. Hydromancy, one of the forbidden arts is hydromancy. Get your hydromancy on. If you don't know what hydromancy is, watch the show Breaking Bad. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen that. When you saw the dude staring into his pool, he was staring into the water, right? So if you have a pool, you have water, you must utilize the water. So if you want to increase your empathic ability, you must do so through hydromancy. Hydromancy is the key. All right. So again, be sure to join the website if you prefer to read in astrarenew.com. Be sure to support the channel via Cash App, Astra Renew. And with that, I bear peace. Y'all take care.